Is life a perception based on perspective, or is perspective based on perceptions?
Have you completely lost it?
No, wait, it's just perceptions.
Isn't life just like a box of paints, full of colorful people, events, and
Arey no, it's just black and white, like binary.
Dude, for people like us and all, there are only two options in life. So engineering or medicine.
Bro, come on. There's a whole lot more to life than just that. You're just looking at it from the wrong perspective.
That's completely anti-national. How can you say that? I mean, how can you not be patriotic?
I don't believe in such ideas, to be honest. The notion of a country itself is just this perception that is implanted in our minds.
Children, life is just like a balance sheet. You must balance things out to give rise to that final statement, just as a balance sheet declares a final statement.
Has she gone mad?
No, dude. Think about it.
Perspectives. Life through perspectives and perceptions.
Episode 3 Reliving the Past Through Reviewing the Present with Shreeja Mandal.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. On today's episode, I talked to my guest about what her thoughts are on what the word friend truly means, how she's making yet another big move to another city, but this time to another country altogether, how the blue tick on WhatsApp has changed the lives of all of us, and a whole lot more. My guest today is a former English teacher of mine. She's taught English in our school Head Start for the past few years, and this year she left. She's now in the middle of a move to Leeds University, where she's going on to do a master's in cultural studies. Moreover, she's one of the teachers that I've become close to over the past years, and one of the first people that came to mind when I thought of doing this podcast. She's truly one of the most interesting, fun, and quite amazing people I know. So without further ado, here is Shreeja Mandal.
Hi, Veer. Hi. That was a very generous, introduction you just gave me. I'll take it and I'll cherish it closely. It's a great honor that you considered me for this recording in this place, and I hope to do justice with it.
Okay, I'll start with this. Why now? Why do you want to choose to go and study now out of all the times?
Apart from this being a slightly existential question, that I think the answer is pretty simple. I want to know some more before I settle down into the teaching line, do it, steadfastly for a number of years. I would always be very grateful to this school for taking me in a freshly graduated newbie almost, who has just come out of the university system, is wide-eyed, eager to make some change and give her a chance, give her a shot at it. I don't know, I just realized that as much as I love being on this side of the table, I also wanted to be on the other side. I just felt like I would like to, at a position where I knew a little more about the world, things around me, before I can call myself a teacher and impart what I know to other people, impressionable minds. So from then on, it was pretty clear that I needed to get back to studies, and that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going for a cultural studies degree, and let's see what it holds for me.
Why you seem sort of scared, unsure? Why is that?
Yeah, well, who isn't before making a huge decision? I had a pretty comfortable life for 2 years. People had shown faith in me, certain people, given me a chance to teach. This is something that I haven't really consulted anybody else on. This is just something that I felt I really needed to do, and then I went ahead with it. So the only consolation I have is that even if this all goes south, it doesn't turn out the way I'm envisaging it in my head, at least it's on me. I took the decision, and whatever consequences come out of it, I will face it. But doubt, that conundrum inside my head, whether I make choice, whether I'm selecting the right university, whether this is the time that I should be doing it all of that will keep, cropping up somewhere in some recesses of my mind, unless and until I'm actually there, actually in the course, I'm actually studying. So
Well, you've moved around quite a bit. So is there like something special about this move in particular, or is there something in general that comes along with these moves?
there's certainly that sense of longing that, there's something in the past that you can't go back to. And there's certain things in past that are only, there to be relived in your memory and to be savored in subdued times, and something that you can access only with your memory. I mean, that's the nature of life. You move on, and whatever happens, you have to keep going forward. I think that's the best thing about the past. So immovable, it's constant. That's the only constant you have in a sense, right?
Letting go has always been tough. Why is that?
I don't know, some sense of familiarity, I think. But I mean, again, the familiar is something that can be forged too. Right now, Bangalore seems very familiar, but at one point of time when I was moving from Delhi to Bangalore was completely unfamiliar, uncharted territory, and I had trouble letting go of Delhi. But now that I've spent 2 years in Bangalore, that place and its people have become familiar to me. Now letting go of that and moving on to a different place is going to be a little tough, right? But then I suppose once I go to this new place, Bangalore will now be in my memory as a warm constant, something that I can access whenever I want, or even like go back and meet the people I made these memories with. So
Letting go is tough, but seeing new things is easier.
that's definitely true. Plus, just getting to know new people. I mean, how boring must it be to just live in one place and doing the same thing over and over again and meeting the same people over and over. I mean, yes, there's familiarity and comfort in that, but your mindset changes, your perspective on certain things change so drastically when you're brought into contact with means, a larger body of new experience. And I mean, experience always contributes to your growth in some way or the other. Even if they are bad experiences, you'll take away a lesson from it, and faced with a similar experience later down the line, you won't repeat it. I mean, experiences in whatever way, shape, or form they might come, they always contribute to your. So grab at it in whatever again way, shape, or form it comes. Also, I think another very big reason for me going into teaching so willingly and being open to meeting new people has to be my mother. My mom is a medical professional. She has traveled around. I look at her and the vitality and the youthfulness and just the sheer amount of positivity she brings to life around her and to me is very inspiring, and I spread some joy wherever I go, and just being able to give somebody else the sense that, hey, you listen, right now life might seem like a rut, but this is not what it's going to be like always. Move around, meet new people, who knows what lies around the corner for you, I guess.
So each experience, do you in some form push it into your memory, or are there something that you push out like, no, I don't want to remember this even though I learned something from it?
Well, I think the greatest one of the human memory is that you can forget. Because I mean, just imagine if you could remember every single experience you have ever had, you would explode, Veer. Or, or I don't know, that existence would be kind of miserable. Like I was saying, something terrible might have happened, but you take the lesson out of it and you erase the rest of it from your memory. So what I'm basically doing is I'm extracting just the part that will enable my growth and eliminating the rest. So I think that is where memory and remembrance play a huge role, and it keeps you sane basically.
What about when it comes to people and the memories you have with them?
When you have shared certain experiences with certain people that you're not in very good terms with now, doesn't discount the fact that at one point in time you had an amicable bond, or that you actually were fond of them, you actually loved who they were. But just because your relationship with them has soured now, just because they left you with a bitter taste in your mouth, doesn't mean that you somehow dismiss all the good times. all the positive things about that person, that discretion has to come in. Otherwise we will be left with very few, memories of people. Because things can go bad very easily, but things can also stay really, really amazing.
I strongly think effort is like a two-way street in a relationship or a friendship. So how do you look at it when you're with people in school, or what are the boundaries that you have to set sometimes?
So, well, you're definitely right when you said effort is also wasted. You can't be the one putting all of it, getting nothing in return, right? I think what this is something that I have followed in my life so far, is that I should have put in everything. At least be secure in the knowledge that you have done everything in your make the situation better or right, whatever term you want to use. And certain things will die a natural death. Life is not a lab experiment, right? So at no point can you say, oh, this is something that will work out perfectly, all other factors remaining constant, because that's just not how it works with humans. And we are messy and unpredictable. Sometimes we are obnoxious as well. So I think what is important, that from your own side, you should be able to say, I put in every time would to this thing. And I mean, it didn't work out still, and it's not really within my control. So
Yeah, but what about like when you come for a class? Do you say that you're always prepared and you always believe that you've done the everything you can on your part, and then you leave it to us?
I would like to hope so.
Hmm.
And I think what kids don't see in a classroom when a teacher is talking in class is that they also might be fighting some battles of their own, and coming and trying to put up this veneer that everything is fine, and I'm such a zen person, and I'm just here to teach you some metaphors and some similes and alliterations and then go away. We'll always ask, okay, how was your day? And if you're going through something, we always take that into account and tailor our classes in that way. But what kids also need to understand is that the teachers are also human beings who have their own daily struggles. And if someday a teacher is not performing to the level that they have set for themselves, probably they are also going through some hard time. And it's all right to stutter a little in class and maybe not be as engaging as they usually are. And it's okay to cut the adult also some slack off and on. But again, that doesn't mean just because the teacher is a little off one day, the kids will also be like, oh, field day today. Let us not do anything. That is not how you hold up the end of this deal.
By saying all this, it seems as if like you seem to be more of getting to know what's inside than just looking at truly what's outside.
I mean, if I expect my kids to respect that I'm having a hard day today and I'm not being able to teach in the exact same way as I would want to, then I must put in that same effort to understand the kids, right? And you know what? Education is important and everything, but so is your mental health, so is your, life outside of school. And if one aspect of your life is not going well, how can I expect you to be, in full concentration in school? Expect every work to be done on time, immaculate, just to the very best of your abilities always. That is just inhuman. That is something that we can't possibly expect. If we are able to give children that safe space to actually tell us that they're going through something, I think work ethic will also increase exponentially.
I mean, not just learning, like even friendships. I think that the way you're talking about all this, it seems like you look at friends the same way. You're like, oh, okay, you need that space. Yeah, even I need that space. So let's just wait.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I'm still your teacher, right?
Yeah.
So I am I can also be your friend when it's needed. Is I think the understanding that I go to class with. Because it has also happened with me only. Because I have been friends with certain students, they have thought, oh, it's fine. I mean, it's only Shreeja auntie, and she's cool. She won't say anything if I don't do the work. But my part is, hello, excuse me. No, we are friends, but don't forget you are my student first. And when I have asked something to be done, I want to see it done. Now you can tell me why it is that you couldn't do it, but don't just take the friendship as a like a pass for not getting some work done, or just basically sort of skiving off work. That is not how it should work.
And do you think like these boundaries of knowing where friendship is, where what has to be done, do you think it's clear in your class, or do you like to make it clear?
Anytime that boundary has become a little blurred, I have pointed it out. But I think in 90% of the cases, I think I've made it pretty clear right from the outset, so that this confusion never arose.
What about
So,
outside school, like with other friends?
I can get along with most people, but making friends takes a little time. I feel like friendships are mostly organic in my case, at least. They just sprout. I have never had to actually consciously go out and say, today I'm going to make some friends. It just happens. So for me, I need to know somebody to some extent before I can start calling them my friends. Once we establish that, I at least am ready to lay down my life for them. I would take a bullet for them any day of the week.
Wow.
But again, that doesn't mean that I expect the same from them, or
Obviously, yeah.
or that I can impose on them certain perceptions or wishes that I might have. Because in my head, I might see the friendship in a certain light, not necessarily that the other person also has to do that. It's probably coming from some deeply insecure part of my brain, but I have friends who I have known for some 2 decades, some 21, 22 years. But even though I know that they'll be there for me whenever I want, I'd still like to ask them, hey, this is happening. Are you down for it?
Yeah.
Or, so I need to ask you of this, like this huge favor, and they'll be like, shut up, you can ask us anytime. But I still like to sort of clear it out before time for it.
No, because now you're telling me this, it's like associate, acquaintance, part friend, deep, like you get to a point where you bond and then it's actual friend. Like, why is that? Where does this idea come from that there has to be like solid trust and then only friendship?
Oh, I never said that. I mean, no, I mean, I kind of get your point, but I'm a very cautious person when it comes to opening up to people. That's it. So it is entirely on me. It's not a general rule that I would want other people to apply to their lives. I take a long time to warm up to people. Also, because I'm pretty bad at time management, and I just constantly feel like I don't want to waste anybody else's time or impose things on them because they might be busy with their lives. But no, I'd like to be sure of the ground that I stand on, and then label a relationship.
The way you're talking about it seems like you think of taking up someone's time as burden unless you really know them.
Kind of, yeah.
But this must have come from somewhere apart from past relationships and whatnot, that you see it as something bad and not that.
No, this is also something that I've seen over the years. As after school, when my friends and I, all of us, we went to different streams, and just the whole premise of calling somebody and chatting mindlessly for hours is a concept that quickly turned into a thing of the past. And I realized, people have work, people have things to do with their lives, and not just catch up with each other all the time. I mean, yes, I also feel like there should be a certain degree of ease with friendships. I should be able to call up an old friend and just pick up from where we left off.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to call and, be like, I'm so terribly sorry I didn't call for the past 3 months, and I'm so sorry I didn't reply to that message you sent 6 months back. I that kind of almost like you're giving some safai as to why you weren't in touch. I mean, you were busy, so was that person.
Yeah.
Now, can you just like move past that and carry on with whatever it is that you have to tell each other?
And how does that make you
And
feel when someone goes on and on about this? Like, no, you didn't do this, but no, 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 or
yeah, that has also happened to me. I mean, after I left Kolkata, and I have had old friends calling and saying, तो हमारे no time ही नहीं, मतलब you don't have time for us on these days. And I'm just like, that's because our schedules are wildly different, and just because I'm not calling you 40 times a day, it doesn't mean I don't remember you or I don't think about you. I do. I just haven't had the time to actually sit in the phone and talk to you. That doesn't mean that you are out of my life or something.
it's funny
I don't
that you
know.
say this, because you said that just because I'm reachable doesn't always mean I'm available.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
yeah, and it's
Exactly.
like,
And
yeah,
and
why
again,
not?
this is not something that applies to just me. It applies to everybody. I mean, yes, we all have a device that enables us to connect to everybody at anybody and everybody at any time of the day you want. But I mean, you're not obligated to use it all the time.
Yeah, and then there's us going
So,
around looking for that blue tick, and we're just like, I know you saw it, but why didn't you reply?
oh my god, this is technology. It's so insidious these days. Blue tick has just induced a lot of anxiety in people. That's all. And I think more friendships have died because of this. And I wouldn't want to know whether you saw my message and deliberately ignored it. You must have been doing something. You must have gotten busy with something, and that's why you didn't, respond immediately. And that's completely fine. You will get back to me when you have to.
How did you even reach that point where you're just like, yeah, I know you have work, that's why you're busy?
So when I was in college, there were a few people back home that I did remain in almost constant touch with. But there would be times when one of us would go out of the loop and just not respond, and the other two would be left hanging, and we wouldn't know what happened to that person, or if it was me, they would wonder what happened to. But then one day we all had to sit down and we were like, listen, guys, this is not 10th grade anymore. This is not school anymore where we all do the same things and we know where the other person is at all points of time in the day. It's okay. We are growing up. We are moving on. We have different sets of interests now. We even have different sets of friends, like other friends. And you know what? New bonds, new relationships take time to build. So we are just investing our time in newer things now. That doesn't mean that our old bond is gone. It just means that it's secure enough without us having to buttress it with the glue of friendship and more cement of the trust and bond and whatever all the time. So can you just calm down and let everything else around you breathe a little? And that's when I was like, yeah, man, what is this nonsense? It's fine if I don't talk to them for like half an hour every day. It's all right. We can all catch up at the end of the week, and it's not going to change anything. Everything is just going to be fine. And coming to terms with that was a little hard. Yes, even just the thought that they have other people in their lives now. It just might be that those people somehow eclipse the position probably I had in their lives. That was a hard realization to come to terms with. But once I had made my peace with it, life was so much more peaceful. I mean, here I was in Delhi, sitting in my hostel dorm room, thinking, "Oh my God, these guys are new friends now. What if they're like 400 times cooler than me, and they forget about me, things like that." What didn't strike me was that these friends sitting in Kolkata were thinking the same about me. That right, that I was probably meeting newer people, cooler people, and I'm putting cooler within quotes. You can't see that, but just the skewed up ideas that we also have about people around us and how we perceive things. And remember, contextually, I'm still 17. So I am young and a little dumb and a little too full of myself from time to time. So yeah, and that was a very hard realization. But once I came to terms with it, everything was fine.
And it's like, give me some space. I know our bond is there. We've done everything to fortify it and make it what it is, but nothing's going to change if we don't talk every day.
Yeah.
It's going to be the same. This seems as if like it was a bit tough to let go of these people and these bonds to break.
I mean, yeah, I think we can all afford this much security in any relationship that we have had for a while. I mean, yeah, I know the instant messaging technology and always being connected is something that puts a lot of pressure on us just to be available at all times and, respond immediately to things. But if you have that much trust and faith in the bond that you have built with somebody, I think all this takes a backseat. The insecurity fades away after a while. You just learn to trust. Give it up a time. It takes a while, but it happens eventually.
And for you, it has taken time.
Definitely.
For Dresden to reach the friend stage, as you call it.
Yeah. Also remember, you and your classmates, you have always known the cell phone, right? I mean, I used my first mobile phone when I went to college, and before that, it was just a landline. My friend and I were used to till we went to college. So for us, it was a whole new sort of game to acclimatize ourselves to, because before that, where else can you reach a person except for like emails and stuff? You call them on the landline and that's it. If they're not home, they don't take the call. If they're home, you get them. So that whole idea of being available all the time and the pressure of responding instantly is something that was little delayed in our case. But when it happened, we weren't exempt from the various complicated feelings it rise in people.
All right. On that note, we do come to the end of this episode, this podcast. So thank you, SJ, for coming on. And yeah.
Thank you, V. Thank you for listening to me babble, actually. Such a long time. But I loved it. Thanks.
So until the next one, goodbye.